Retirement annuities before the end of February, which represents the close of the country's tax year, in order to take advantage of the tax break. However, investors often negate this benefit by paying high investment fees. Well, joining us from our Cape Town studios is Stephen Nathan. He's the Chief Executive Officer of 10 Times Investments, to advise investors and to ensure a better return on their investments, hopefully. It's good to have you. Welcome to the program, Stephen. Thanks for being our guest.
Thank you.
South African taxpayer year, as I say, it's upon us. Many people are starting to save for their retirement. Can you tell us what exactly is a retirement annuity?
A retirement annuity is an investment vehicle that allows individuals to save in a tax-friendly environment for their retirement. So they get significant tax breaks by using pre-tax money in a retirement annuity rather than using after-tax money in, say, a unit trust.
Yeah. All right, so how do investors benefit from tax breaks in retirement annuities?
Well, at the moment, you can contribute 15%. It's a bit technical. It's called your non-pensionable income, but think of it as 15% of your earnings before tax. So you don't pay tax on that money. So if you're a high earner and you're paying 40% tax rate, then effectively 40% of your contribution would be paid for by the receiver of revenue. If you're a 30% taxpayer, then 30% would be paid tax-free. So it reduces your taxable income, and then the returns earned on your RA are tax-free, whereas in a unit trust you would pay tax on your capital gain and your income. And then at retirement, there's also a fairly sizable tax-free portion that you can take out.
A fairly sizable tax-free portion, but that is taxable, the amount that you do take out on your RA?
Well, the first 315,000 you pay no tax, and then the next 315,000 you pay 18% tax, and the next 315,000 you pay 27% tax. So that's quite a sizable tax benefit.
It's sizable tax benefit, but I suppose when your retirement does come around, it's quite a chunk off of the money that you've been saving. Is there tax on the retirement? Would you recommend RAs as a good tool for your retirement going forward?
Well, not all RAs are created equal. So the point we're making at 10X is that typically speaking, the tax benefit is equal to a 1% cost saving. So a lot of people in the past have bought RAs without considering the value for money they're getting, and they've paid fees that are just too high. So if you're paying very high fees and you're in an RA, then you are losing the tax benefits in high fees. So you've got to get the right RA with low fees, and then that is a very good vehicle to save for your retirement.
I mean, obviously, people make mistakes when they are retiring. Not when they're retiring, when they're saving for their retirement. What advice do you give to people? What should you look for?
Well, we like to talk about the ABC of investing. So A is to own age-appropriate portfolios, and really what that means is that your time horizon, how long you have until retirement, should drive the type of portfolio you invested in. And if you've got a long time horizon, which is 5 years and more, then you should be in what we call an aggressive or a growth portfolio, a portfolio that has a high weighting of companies, invested in companies that's going to give you the high returns you need. So that's the first thing to do. Secondly, you should just try and own a portfolio that's going to track the market rather than trying to beat the market, because there's just too much choice out there for investors, and often they get swayed more by emotion than by logic. So you want a sensible portfolio that's going to track the market, and then you want to minimize fees, because most people don't know what fees they're paying, and importantly, that they don't understand the long-term impact of fees, because the return you earn in a balanced portfolio is about 5 or 6% after inflation. So every 1% you're paying in fees is not really 1%. It's 1/5 or up to 20% of the return you would have earned. And then when you're investing for long periods of time, which is retirement, could be 40 years, that compounds to erode about 30% of your final pension. So you must minimize fees, because that alone can make the difference between a successful retirement and failure.
All right. Well, there you have it. Some great advice this morning. Stephen, thank you for talking to us. Thanks very much for joining us here on Morning Live. That was Stephen Nathan giving us an insight on how retirement annuities actually work. And the current total cost of retirement investing in South Africa is way too high. Investors are paying too much in fees for complex products, commission, incentivized brokers, and underperforming fund managers. And that's a reality, making it almost impossible for them to retire. So hopefully the little bit of advice that Stephen did give us is going to help us out when it comes to investing for our retirement. He is the CEO of 10 Times Investment.